Hi, guys. I'm Shahaf,
And I'm Sofia.
and this is our podcast.
Wellness. So, in this episode, we want to talk about school stress and some mental breakdown experience over school, and especially with mocks approaching. All the seniors are in kind of this stressful situation, and I think the juniors can really see that, and they're probably a little bit scared. So, we want to discuss everything that relates to this topic today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think to start off, I think it's been getting really intense, the senior class,
Intense, nice.
mainly just mainly just because of the mocks. I think we're just getting really scared about it because this is when I feel like a lot of people realize, like, holy crap, this is real. Like, I'm gonna be graduating in a hot minute, and this is me trying to be prepared.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's not only like exam stress. I mean, okay, also the reality is that in 6 weeks we have like final exams. Am I ready? Not at all.
No.
Freaking, really freaking scary. But also the fact that in what, like 2 months, almost a little bit more than that, we will be on, what is it, in the palace, getting our diploma.
Isn't that
And
insane?
that's, I mean, it's really okay. I don't have much emotions, to be honest. Like it's hard to make me cry, all of that.
Yeah.
But that's really sad. And I think in addition to exams right now, it's all just getting really stressful.
Yeah,
Because
I think the
yeah,
biggest reason that it's getting so stressful is that also not only because of all the workload and all the material that we need to, be familiar with and be comfortable with, but also just the fact that it's really starting, at least for me, it's really starting to hit me. Okay, after the mocks, I'm going to be finishing up IAs and then revising for my final exams, and then I'm done. And like, I've got so little left.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm just like not mentally prepared for that.
same. But I mean, do you like with the exams at least, do you have some breakdowns this week or not really? Or are you kind of calm,
the,
trying to be
the,
calm?
the thing is that I remember in 10th grade and in 11th grade and definitely ninth grade as well, I would like cry over a workload. Definitely. But I think in the 12th grade, I became so numb to it.
No.
It sounds so bad, like numb and traumatized, that I just don't feel anything anymore
Yeah, I get you.
in a way, which I know sounds really bad, but like I feel like that's kind of been my experience. But I remember it's actually exactly a year ago. In a couple days, it's gonna be like exactly a year anniversary, 1 year anniversary of my biggest meltdown in the entire world. And what was the biggest trigger of it? Trigonometry and geometry. Why do you think the word trigonometry like starts with trick? Because it triggers people. I generally like I think that's a really valid hypothesis. Um I remember that I became so self-conscious of myself and my capabilities. I I remember FaceTiming Sophia, and when I was house sitting, like
Oh
my neighbors, do you
yes.
remember? And I was crying too, and I was like, I
That
don't
was
think I can
really
make
bad.
it.
And I honestly think that just, I mean, I don't want to like blame our school, but I think the education system, like just the fact that it breaks some people, I don't like that. Like I think
It really does.
I think our teachers are trying to do like a really good job in terms of, trying to calm us down and make everything less scary. But I think especially in grade 9 and 10, I also used to be really, I think that's when I burned out, which is why right now, like
Huh?
I, I'm just dying. Honestly, I can't. And I think like an important kind of advice number one in this episode is that in grade 9 and 10, I mean, obviously you should care, like care about school and grades, but if you're not getting sevens every time and even sixes every time, that's fine, because no one is gonna care unless you're going to the US. for uni. And I think it's important in grade 9 and 10 to focus on kind of trying to see what you like instead of stressing out, because I stress out a lot, and then I ended up changing my B subjects like 3 times because I had no clue what I want to do.
Yeah. No, me neither. I literally have no idea what the future is going to look like.
Yeah,
So I'm intrigued.
for sure. But what do you wish the teachers and the parents knew kind of about this like stress
Oh my
mental?
god. I wish that they would know that well, this is like a really complicated question. I think that a lot of teachers don't understand, and parents as well, don't understand how easily we tend to overthink, at least for me personally. Because for me, it's like, okay, if I did quite poorly on this one test, that means I'm gonna be doing poorly on the rest of my tests, which means I'm gonna fail high school, which means I'm never gonna get a high school diploma, which means I'm never gonna get into college, never gonna, get a stable
Yeah,
job, have
the
a
whole
stable
cycle starts.
life, which is simply not true. But I fall into that cycle so often. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. And especially the people who are already, having stable jobs and lives, like our parents and
Oh,
teachers.
for sure. Like, I mean, my parents are, they feel for me when I cry or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard for them to actually understand why we're so scared. And I think for the teachers, I wish they knew that sometimes we studied for the test for maybe 20 hours. And yes, I still didn't get hypothesis testing, but that's not because I didn't study, it's because I
Yeah.
just did it. And I
It's
think, I mean, I know our teachers, I don't know, they don't want us to be stressed and scared, but I think sometimes they just, I don't know, they just assume that if you didn't do well, it means you didn't study. But there are so
right.
many outside factors that, you know,
I mean, like my math teacher told me the other day, and I'm basically quoting right now, paraphrasing, but quoting. He said something along the lines of like, "You're a very smart girl, but you're having a hard time putting putting information that you get from the question together to lead you to the right answer. So you do too much work, for example. Like you show too much work on the test,
mm,
example. Um and yeah, it's really tough sometimes to really piece everything together and really be great at everything. You can't be great at everything. It's just impossible
yeah,
to happen. You know what I mean? Like you can't be brilliant at math, but brilliant at psychology and brilliant at English at the same time.
yeah,
Or if you do, you will also have tests in English where you get a 4 and when you get a 7.
mm-hmm.
Same with psychology, same with any subject, same with anything in life, to be honest, like not even school.
And I think that's important, especially for um, juniors, but also um, what are they called? Sophomores. Uh,
Yeah.
so grade 10, because I think in grade 10, people, I mean, if you're actually putting in the work, you start getting those grades because you kind of get the hang of it. But then, oh my God, as soon as you go into grade 11, it depends.
You'll
But
get
mostly
traumatized.
it slaps you in the face with
Yes.
like a 3 in your favorite subject. And you sit there and you're like, what? But I think it's important to remember that you're kind of, you're like stepping up your game almost. It's harder
Yeah.
and it's more complicated than grade 10. So I think that also led to a lot of stress in our grade because people thought, oh my God, I'm going to fail IB.
Hmm.
And I think that's what I wish I knew when I was in grade 10 and like grade 11, that
Yeah.
it's not like if I got a 4, I got a 4 on my first history paper one. Now I'm getting 7 6s. So
Yeah.
I think that just, shows you that there's time to improve those skills and get better. So
Especially in the early grades, like 11th and 10th grade, like especially.
yeah, because it's like you start thinking about how, oh my God, I'm so dumb, even though a bad grade doesn't mean that you're
Yeah.
dumb. It just means you, I don't know, you
Didn't get
challenge,
wrap
as
your
we
head
told
around
you
it.
in grade 10.
Yeah.
Challenge. I mean, okay, that's actually true because yeah, it's not something you've been doing for a long time. Like with history, I mean, I
Right.
haven't been writing essays on Mao and Stalin my whole life, so but also there are a lot of people, and I think, I mean, maybe not in our class, or maybe in our class, with you know the sort of attitude when they kind of don't care. What do
Mhm.
you think about that? Because I think there are two extremes: when you completely don't care,
Yes.
and when you overstress so much that it actually, hurts you a lot.
Yeah, like you said, I feel like there's kind of like a spectrum, and there's the two radicals. The one on one side is the one that stresses about school and only about school. School is the biggest thing in one's life. And then there's the complete opposite, the other side in that radical spectrum, where there's people who just don't care once and for all. They don't care about, their grades. They don't do their work. If they need to turn in something, then they turn it in last minute. Um, they don't study for tests, etc., etc. And I think both are really harmful
Yeah.
on there's major consequences in both of them, on the short and on the long term. So on the one side, the people who care only about school, so the huge problem with that is that they burn out easily, they stress. It's literally connected to future health problems, on the long term. On the short term, however, there is the benefit that you get good grades, you're well focused. And then, essentially, if you go into the basic chain, the most classic one, high school, college, job, it might get you like a little bit of an easier life, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll succeed as well as other people.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then there's the other side, which major consequences, again, if you go in the classic side of high school, college, job, it'll be a harder path for you. It'll be a longer path for you because you adopt so many bad habits like procrastination, like not studying, which will impact you on the short term with grades. You're not going to be able to get into college, probably, or it's going to be really hard for you. If you don't care about that, then do whatever you want, like YOLO. But I feel like, again, both extremes are really harmful. Like extremes are more harmful, in my opinion, in a lot of situations, not just school.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
I
like sometimes, do you agree that sometimes you would kind of wish that you would have the attitude of the students that have the whole I don't care attitude about school? Like, are you sometimes, because I sometimes find myself like jealous of them.
I think I think I just wish I were less stressed. I never wished I didn't care because I used to not care. When I was in Russia, I studied like 5 minutes a day. I don't even know how I got good grades somehow, and that's still
Yeah.
a mystery to me. But here I kind of somehow something changed, no clue what. And I just wish I was a little bit more relaxed because I also think, oh my God, like last year, I mean, also no one cares about my grades from last year. And last year I got a 4 on my math test. And I was like, this is the end of me. I'm never gonna get into university. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna get a job and I'm gonna die of I don't even know. And I think I just wish I were more relaxed. And I don't think the juniors are more relaxed, but I think our advice to everyone who's in high school and middle school and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
don't be so stressed because in the long run, what really matters is the health.
Your
And that,
health. Yes.
no, you can
Otherwise, it's not
get
worth
uni without sevens and sixes,
it. Yeah.
but you will not be able to succeed anywhere if you're literally like mentally
Unstable.
done.
Yeah, like if you're burnt out. No, for sure. I remember in the sixth grade, I think I vividly remember one, but I probably had more that I just don't recall. I had a full on meltdown about school. And mind you, it's the sixth grade.
Yeah.
This was for me almost, not almost, this was half a school career ago. You know what I mean? So in this that test, I know it was a science test. I don't remember what it was about. See, so on the long run, these things don't matter. Just make sure on the short term you put enough amount of effort into it, but don't stress too much. But also don't not care. You know what I mean? Still care, still make sure, hello, still make sure that like you're putting in the effort.
Yeah.
And the tactic for me is, as long as I put effort into whatever, I'm proud of myself regardless of what the outcome is. If I end up like failing, which thankfully has never happened, but if that, or I just get a much lower grade than I expected, because that has happened to me before, obviously with so many other people as well, then, I go to the teacher, I ask questions, how can I improve? And then I improve for the next time. And then the next time it's usually better, if I apply the feedback, but I don't stress about it so much. I try not to. And it's a lot easier said than done, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be recording this podcast right now. But
Yeah, I just think it's important to have a healthy relationship with grades, which is hard. Like
yeah,
I still don't have that, but I think it's just important to always remember that you're just learning from your mistakes. If you
exactly.
got something wrong once, you're probably never gonna get it wrong again, just because of how vividly you're gonna remember it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you remember, you apply the feedback and it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And also you have to keep in mind that grades don't define you and don't define your intelligence at
Yeah.
all.
And
Because
last, yeah,
when people
sorry.
say that there's a difference between like book smart and street smart, that is so true. And I see that every day with my classmates, that they might not be book smart, but they're super like intelligent in their own way about certain things. And also the other way around, people that are brilliant but don't utilize that potential in school, and they
Yeah.
don't do as well as they could. So really just make sure you find your own balance, and it's a really long process that takes a long, 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 long time until you realize where your balance is and what state you need to lead yourself to be in, so you'll be happy.
Yeah, you fail many times and then somehow you improve. And always remember that the counselors are, there for you.
Yes.
Our psychologist is also there for you. And it's just important to
Friend,
sometimes talk to people. And senioritis or whatever it's called is
you're right.
real.
It
What
is.
and so I think that's just one of the consequences of a severe burnout. So I
Yeah.
think that's why already like starting in grade 11 it's just important to work on having a healthy relationship with like everything that causes stress, like grades
Yeah.
and tests, like our mocks are what in a couple of days. And yeah, that
Yes, I think we can finish it up with wishing all of our seniors the best of luck in mocks and in the final few weeks of high school, few months.
okay, that was like few weeks, wow.
Well, I mean, what do you define by a few?
2 weeks, I immediately thought 2 weeks were done, but yeah.
No, 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 not 2 weeks, a few months. Let's just say a couple months. We're done. So we just want to wish you the best of luck and work smart, not hard.
And
That
remember
was so
that
cringe, but it's true.
you are, you know you should be proud of yourself and you are
Yes.
worth more than your grades, and that's the most important thing.
And you've come this far, and you're a lot more close to finishing up high school than restarting it, like than going back to where you started. So just be proud of yourself that you've come this far, because it's not, like an obvious thing. Not everyone makes it.
Yeah.
So good luck on the mocks, you guys. And thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in our next episode.
Bye.
Bye, guys.